You know what? I've been talking for the last 2 minutes and I forgot to hit the live button. Oh man. Oh God. Messed up. I've been wondering what's going on. I've been talking, and anyway, I'm live on Facebook. I am live on the YouTube, and I'm live on Twitter. So I'm just going to double check here. I am good to go on all platforms. At least I should be here. I better double check here. Oh God, I can't believe I messed up and sitting here. I've been literally talking for the last couple minutes here. So let me double check here. I am good to go. So anyway, man, Lions fans, I told you you'd get one. I told you you'd get one. I don't think you're done yet. Here's the problem is that you may have played yourself out of the number one pick. And I'm beginning to think that the number one pick is going to be Aiden Hutchinson. So you may have played yourself out of that pick. And here's the thing. He reminds me a lot of the Bosa brothers. And I remember Joey Bosa's rookie season. I'm like, he's going to be a 5 technique with the Chargers. That doesn't make any sense. 12 games, he had 12 sacks. This year against Kansas City, they used him all over in a 3-4 defense. He was the best player on the field. So Hutchinson, I think, could really work in a 3-4 defense. But if I'm Hutchinson, I really would rather play for Houston, all things being equal. Now, keep in mind, I'm assuming Houston and Detroit's keeping their coaching staffs intact. And if so, I'd rather play in that Lovie Smith Tampa 2 defense. Anyway, the number one pick's up for grabs. I think the Lions got some more wins. I think they really do. Jimmy's in that. Jimmy, man, how the hell are you doing, brother? Man, I'm jacked up, man. I'm quitting energy drinks, but I got coffee and there's sugar in the coffee. Sugar is not code for cocaine. It is not cocaine. It is not cocaine. I like what the Pats are doing. Bills lose to Tampa Bay this Sunday. I think that seals the deal for the Pats winning the division. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought? Who would have thought 2 months ago we're talking about New England's sealing up the East? But yeah, and who would have thought that a pass-heavy offense wouldn't work good in bad weather conditions that you have in Buffalo? I know in the 90s they ran that K-gun offense, but they had Thurman Thomas and they could run the ball. And pass-heavy offense doesn't work in Buffalo. Who would have thought? So. Yeah, I think New England's really it's kind of fun because, I'm a Chiefs fan. I still think Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. I think we could see a Chiefs-Patriots AFC championship game. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think a lot of people would like to see that. I really do. But the AFC is becoming very interesting. The NFC also. So there it is. Yeah. I'm here now. I can't believe that. Yeah, I was sitting there talking for like 2 minutes. Fuck! What's up, brother, man? Congratulations on the win. What a great win. What a great win. Really enjoy the victory. Enjoy the victory. Enjoy the victory. Great job. Great job. Yeah, man. Here we go. Yeah. We ain't winning this week. I'm not so sure. I am not so sure. Be careful. I think you guys are dangerous. I think you guys are a dangerous team. I'd be honest with you. I'd rather play several different teams than Detroit. Detroit plays hard. Hey man, drill. Any different Sunday. That's okay. I don't want that pick. No, you really shouldn't want the 1 pick. And the reason why I say that is because if you have the 2 pick, you can get creative in the 2 spot. In the 1 spot, you can't. You're locked. And the reason why is that the number 1 pick is either going to be Thibodeau or Hutchinson. But the number 2 pick is possible to trade out of. But you can't trade out of that 1 seed. But that number 2 seed you could trade out of. And you can get a little creative there. So I get that. You want Hamilton anyway. I'll be honest. Let's say you pick it 2. All right. If you pick it 2, I could see Hamilton. I actually could. And the reason why is because in the other pick that you're going to get, let's just call it 25. I don't know. Let's just say 25. All right. You can get a really good edge rusher. You can get, I'm going to mispronounce the name, Ojabu, the other Michigan guy. I know you're not a Michigan guy, but you can get another edge rusher in that defense. So Lions probably won't win against Denver, but I like a spoiler alert. I like +10 too. If you've been watching Denver like I have, the offense is just stuck. I mean, it's a shame because I don't know if you got a chance to watch me. I went on Big Chief Sean's show, but I was like, if Andy Reid was coaching that Denver offense, they'd be scoring 35 a game. I mean, you got Javonte Williams, who looks like an absolute superstar. You got 3 really stud wide receivers. Noah Fant's got all talent in the world, and you're running this goofy offense. The offense that Denver runs is just ridiculous. But they're running they're just trying to play old school football with a ton of skill position talent. Doesn't make any sense. And the offensive line's not that good. They're trying to say Denver has a great offensive line. They really don't. I actually like Denver in 10. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit wins against Denver. I really wouldn't. I will say this about Denver, though, that defense is solid. The defense is solid. Facts, Funk, but he's the best fit for us. I actually could see that. I really could, but you need edge rusher is always going to be a higher priority than safety. And I haven't done a ton of research. I actually don't know about safeties that would be available later on. I know Hamilton's number 1, but I don't know if there's a safety that really fits in. So, yeah. If we didn't have a flu bug going on, you'd have a chance. Okay, you have a flu bug. I didn't know that. So Hutch is more of a 4-3 defensive end in my eyes. I think Nick Bono fits what the Lions do more than any other rush linebacker. Yeah, Hutch is more of a 4-3. And that's why if I'm Hutchinson, I'd rather go to Houston than Detroit. However, Joey Bosa played a 5 technique, and the Chargers got very creative with Bosa. They moved him around to different spots. He played like the right side in a 3-4 as a 5 technique. Then, in nickel, he went to the outside to move him on different sides. They got very creative with him, but he excelled. I mean, his rookie season, he had 12 sacks in 12 games. There was a weird contract situation, which was really goofy because the way the contracts are, you have a set slot, and there was all sorts of problems with the contract. And then he had an injury, and I was like, man, this is going to be a bust. And then he plays week 5 and just dominates. Went to the Pro Bowl. Just dominated. And it was that 5 technique, which I'm like, why are you drafting a guy like Bosa who's undersized defensive end? So it can work. I'll be honest, I don't have enough faith in the Lions coaching staff to get creative with a guy like Hutchinson. Nick Bono, I actually haven't watched too much of him yet. So, we're going to do a ton of draft stuff, Funk. We're going to do a ton of draft stuff here. Funk, Jermaine Johnson, that's one guy I've looked at who I also do like. So, are you thinking the Chiefs win out the season or schedules looking favorable? Yes, I actually do. There is Kansas City's going to be favored in every game. They should win every game, but drill any given Sunday. But I think the Chiefs are easily the best team in the AFC. And for those of you who are going to say the Patriots are the best team in the AFC, the Chiefs match up extremely well against Patriots. What do the Patriots do? They take away your number 1 weapon. Well, you go ahead and take away Travis Kelce, and then you have Tyreek Hill. And if you take away Tyreek Hill, you got to leave Travis Kelce open. And the difference is this Chiefs team than a lot of other Chiefs teams. This Chiefs team has a big physical offensive line that can run the football. They're one of the few teams I think that could run the football against a pretty good Patriots defense. And then Mahomes has always excelled against the Patriots team, even though he's been credited with a lot of interceptions, having a bad year. Which quarterback do you like better in the playoffs? The guy who's won a Super Bowl MVP or a rookie? So, I mean, I really, I think the Chiefs win out. I really do. I don't think there's a team beating them until you get to the Super Bowl. Then Super Bowl, that's a different story because there's some really good teams in the NFC. Denver Gator, man. What's up, you bunch of football junkies? Denver Gator. I am hopeful that you will come on the show and we can discuss the New Year's 6. The Friday shows are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I don't know if you're available. I don't know if you're partying like a rock star those days, but we will. I'll send you some messages and we will hopefully get you on to. I'm very excited because I've already kind of broken down mentally all the New Year's 6 bowl games. I'm not going to reveal anything because I want you to come on. I want to hear your opinion. Denver Gator is going to bet his life savings on one of these games. So Denver Gator is ready. Exactly. You're handcuffed to taking a defensive end you pick at one between a 4-3 and a raw. Exactly. One pride. Exactly. Now, I like Houston doing that because that Tampa 2 system that Lovie Smith, I'm assuming Lovie Smith's going to be there, really works. Really works. It's simple. It's easy to learn. You got Blacklock. And then I don't know if Alex is going to join us, but he loves Roy Lopez. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that he could do. But a guy like Hutchinson or Thibodeau, you got to get a little creative to use a guy like Hutchinson in that defense. Now, the Chargers were able to do it. The Chargers flip-flopped between a 3-4 and a 4-3, and Bosa's been able to succeed, or whatever. In both schemes, I don't know if Hutchinson can do the same, even though he reminds me a lot of both the Bosa brothers. Jimmy, check and see who is all out from my squad. Seriously, the Lions are all sick, and Walker Brown, the backup center, will start. Williams, someone else on the coach. I have not checked this out, Funk. In all fairness, I haven't checked this out. But wow, okay, all right. Jimmy, giving the shout out here. You take a bona fide dog at one. I will admit this. I've switched gears and I've really liked Hutchinson. And here's the thing, you're going to get to see Hutchinson play maybe in 2 games, but you're definitely going to see him play in 1. He had a great game against Ohio State, so that's crazy. But I heard most of those guys are supposed to be good by game time, except maybe 3. They may not have Swift. We just won without him. The thing is, Denver is just there. It's just every time I watch Denver, I just keep thinking if Andy Reid. I'm telling you this right now. If Andy Reid was coaching the Denver Broncos, they would be a 10-win team right now. I'm telling you this right now. They have so much offensive talent. They got the wrong guy at quarterback. The defense is amazing. The defense is really amazing, but if you could score 21 points against Denver, I'm not exaggerating either. If you put up 21 points against Denver, you're going to win. Their offense is just, and Javonte Williams is so close to just becoming a superstar. I've always loved Melvin Gordon, and if Melvin Gordon comes back, he'll be the starter. And he's a really good running back, but Javonte Williams is better, and why he hasn't been starting and getting 25 touches a game. And here's the thing, he's only used between the tackles, and I get it. He's a former linebacker. He's 230, 235. But I remember they used him on a screenplay, and that was like his longest play of the game. And I'm like, why aren't you using him in the passing game? Why don't you get him outside the tackles? That's something he would do with under Andy Reid. Andy Reid would get this guy all over the field. Javonte Williams should be like a top 10 fantasy player, and anyway. I'm ranting, but yeah, Denver's really screwing up by not using this guy right. Denver, your squad would be playing with a lot of passion this week. Rip DT. That is, God, I'm hesitant to talk about this because I don't know all the details. Apparently, it was just a medical condition. Here's a guy by normal human standards, an elite athlete. By NFL standards, an above average athlete. Some people say elite. I don't know about that, but I mean, it's just crazy, The thing is, I don't know how many Denver Broncos actually played with him. I actually don't know how that's going to affect the team. I really don't. I mean, if this was, he left Denver, several years ago. I don't know how many players will be on that team. I don't know. I actually don't know, but it's sad. I hate to see anybody who's 33 die, but I mean, when you see an elite. I mean, you have to realize he's a better athlete than 99.5% of the human population. I don't know if he was an elite NFL athlete. He was definitely above average. And so it's sad. I don't know if Denver's going to play with a lot of passion, though. I actually don't know. If we don't win this week, I see us beating Atlanta and Seattle. Seattle, no. I don't know about Atlanta. I'll be honest, you're not a better team than Atlanta. But I do think you got another win in you, though. Denver Gator says, I'm so glad the Lions finally got a win, especially against the Vikings. I was nervous about the Lions coming in so hungry with no wins, but asking the Broncos to cover 10 against anyone is stupid. Broncos win by 4-6. And I kind of agree with you, Denver Gator. I actually I don't see Denver covering 10 because that offense is just horrific. And the defense is easily better. I could see turnover, special teams. I haven't checked the weather report. I haven't checked the weather report in any of these games. And if I checked last week and I saw the high winds in Kansas City and Buffalo, I would have taken advantage of the unders. But yeah, I like the Lions to cover 10. I really do. I like the Lions to cover 10. Denver, no Hawk, no Swift, no Williams, no Walker. We're on third string center. That is really bad. And that's the whole point of this channel is to learn inside information like this, Funk. So I'm really glad you provided all this stuff because you have to understand something. The Denver defense is much, much better than the Vikings defense, which should be a good unit, but it's not. Rip DT, Broncos aren't trash. OC is clueless how to use such dynamic playmakers. That exactly, Denver Gator, exactly. If I made it sound like it's the offense, no, it's the offensive coordinator because under Andy Reid, they would be a 30 point team. The Broncos, if you substitute just the coaching staff, you put the Chiefs coaching staff on the Denver Broncos, the Broncos are probably 11-2, 12-1 or something like that. Andy Reid would have that. Andy Reid would put Drew Lock over Bridgewater, and Drew Lock would be a Pro Bowl candidate, maybe an MVP candidate. I'm no lie, because he's got more weapons than what the Chiefs have, believe it or not. Yeah. Shermer, straight garbage. I'm totally down for Christmas Eve. Talk some great bowl games. Totally. Okay, Christmas Eve, Denver Gator's going to come in. He's going to bet his life savings on one of the New Year's 6 bowl games and offer a promotion for his OnlyFans channel. So he was wearing nothing but an orange bucket. That's it. So it's going to be awesome. Yeah, the Vikings defense is not good. Denver has a really good defense. That's what it's So how many WCA Lions get? I don't know, but I think he get at least one more. I'll say greater. I'll say one, maybe two. But it's seriously with that win, it puts the number 1 pick in jeopardy. And I think Houston would really benefit from having the number 1 pick. Detroit doesn't, because I actually kind of agree with you guys. I think Hamilton would be the best player because you can use an edge rusher, but an edge rusher is higher priority. And then I can see the Lions at 2 saying, let's make some offers because you're going to have both the Jets and the Giants with some picks. I could actually see the Jets saying, look, we want Thibodeau or Hutchinson, and we'd be willing to trade. And they have trade capital. Remember, the Jets could be picking like 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. So I could see the Jets and the Lions getting very creative there. I could actually see the Lions at 2 become playing partners. That would be a lot of fun. It'd be a lot of fun for me. Hopefully it's a lot of fun for you. Gary, what's up, brother? I think Giants Jones has whiplash, explains why he played after game against the Eagles. He got hurt this year, similar to the car accident. Dude, I'm sorry about your car accident, man. I didn't know the whiplash symptoms whiplash is not, he wasn't 100%. I've been following some mock drafts, and I don't really start getting into it after the combine. It looked like earlier this year we were talking about no quarterbacks. I saw a mock draft where 5 quarterbacks went in the first round. 5. And I've seen multiple quarterbacks going to the Giants. When draft time comes around, I'd love to hear from you. I want to know what you think. Are Lions taking a quarterback in the first round? I've seen a lot of mock drafts where they take one. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. Dan, he passed away from a seizure. Yeah. Remember when you didn't think seizures were a big deal when I said about, okay. I didn't say it wasn't a big deal, Funk. You're kind of putting words in my mouth. And I think I struck a chord with you, and that's the last thing I want to do. No, it is a big deal. All right. What I said it wasn't a big deal about Fields is because he's been playing through it. He's been cleared. It's not been an issue for Fields. It's not affected him. That's why I don't think like teams would go against drafting him, because it's something he's been handled and it's something he's been medically cleared. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's not a big deal. It is, but I'm not a medical professional. And he was cleared. And DT never had no, best of my knowledge, his whole NFL career, nobody's ever said, well, he can't play because of seizures. So, if I struck a chord with you or said something offensive, last thing I want to do, Funk. I mean, God, man, I mean, you've been one of my most loyal subscribers for years. And I will say this like 10 years from now, when you told me that, isn't it great that two guys can disagree about sports and one guy not call another guy a name? I wish I would have said that. And I'll quote that. And, I always speak very highly of you. So if I said something to offend you, God, last thing I want to do. With Fields, has it affected his NFL career so far? No, it hasn't. DT, as far as I feel kind of bad calling him DT. Derek Thomas, of course, passed away too soon as well. But it didn't affect his NFL career. It's a shame. And the best of my knowledge, I haven't read anything that said this is exactly why. But 33 years old, it's just too young for anybody to die. Fangio, not a great head coach, phenomenal DC, just like so many DCs as head coaches in the past, need a good quarterback and a young, modern-minded offensive coordinator. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really scared because I could see, and I don't know his first name, but Kubiak's kid, who's the offensive coordinator in Minnesota. I could see Minnesota blowing up their coaching staff. I could see Kubiak coming to Denver. Actually, to be honest with you, if I'm John Elway, I'm reaching out to Kubiak and like, can you get your son to come in here? Because look at the Vikings offense. Can you imagine that with Denver? Can you imagine the Vikings offense on the Denver Broncos? That team would win the West, and that's what I think will happen. I think Kubiak and I think Minnesota and Chicago are going to blow up their coaching staffs. And as soon as the coaching staff for Minnesota blows up, I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out to Kubiak's dad, and I'm reaching out to his son. If I'm Elway, I'm flying up to Minnesota. As soon as I hear that Zimmer is gone, I'm flying up to Minnesota. I'm doing everything humanly possible to bring Kubiak. And the thing is that you could do also is that you could reach out to Kubiak and say, listen, we'll put you a head coach in waiting. Because I think Fangio is kind of semi on hot seat. So that I could see that, and that would suck as a Chiefs fan. So yeah, this just sucks, Gary. It sucks all the way around. Guys, 22 Lions had the flu. And this is, by the way, Funk, this is why I created this channel, is I wanted inside information. I didn't know this. So now you go from Denver to Mile High and you think all those guys will be able to breathe. I see Denver rolling the Lions unless Teddy Two Gloves has a bad day. Yeah, I mean, as long as we get out of one, I'm cool. And it could happen. Correction, I think it was against Tampa Jones got hurt. Yeah, he's been banged up. And I'd love to know is when the draft time comes around, I want to hear from you because I know that you're a big draft junkie. I want to know, are the Giants – are the Giants trying to trade up in the draft to get a quarterback? So I'm all for trading back, but if they have their guy, they will take them. I could see them. Here's the deal: if the Lions pick at 2 or less, I think they're a candidate to trade back. At 1, you're not, because you can't get out of that 1 spot. The 2 top players are probably going to be Hutchinson and Thibodeau. And it's much easier to trade into 2 than it is to 1, especially if you got the same player. So, it's a situation where whoever's picking at 2 is a candidate to trade back. And I think Detroit's much more likely to trade back than Houston. I think Houston at 2 is going to take a defensive end because that's what the whole premise of that defense is building at building up that defensive line, playing that Tampa 2 scheme. Now, if Houston has a new coaching staff, who knows what they'll do? Houston at 2 could take a quarterback. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing is Houston at 2 could trade back. There's a lot of great stories about the draft, but yeah, if you're Detroit, I don't think you really want to pick one. Where Houston, I think they could be like, hey, we'll take one, we'll take Hutchinson, we're good. But if Houston wants a quarterback, they lose their coaching staff. Anyway, I'm kind of ranting, but if you hear sirens in the background, they are not after me for doing drugs. So if you want an inspiring story, find DT story. Started at 11 years old, very inspirational about overcoming some dramatic circumstances. I learned a lot just today. I didn't know about that, but I was floored at all the NFL players had pictures of Demaryius Thomas, and he was always smiling. I want to say he had it was a sports reporter and other players, like on the ride back, Demaryius Thomas sat him down, like gave him a football, and I didn't know all the things that he did. I didn't know. And anybody, 33-year-old men should not be passing away. I mean, I'm 47. No, I know I don't look like I'm 47. I'm damn good looking, but I'm glad, Funk. Last thing I want to do, man. Jim, Pats lose 1, man. Hello, all. Jim, welcome, man. I don't recognize you, so if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Jim, as we were all talking, we're really surprised. I had a show on Wednesday. And I had a Patriots fan. And for months, literally, we talked about the Bills being the best team in the East. Now it looks like it's Patriots. But we all agree here that the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. Are you on board with that? Or do you think the Chiefs could lose to the Patriots in what would be a very awesome AFC championship game? So a lot of our fan base wants Hutch. And it's kind of, well, he's look, I mean, I get it. Local kid. Heisman candidate, yeah. Welcome, Jim. Fire up some questions or takes. Let's go, man. I think the Giants should not take a QB and trade their 22 first picks for the Seahawks, 23, 24, 25 first rounders. They keep Wilson and have the draft capital to draft young in 2023 like us. Okay. That's kind of interesting. Man. That's gonna that would be very interesting. I keep hearing the Russell Wilson trade. I don't see him leaving Seattle. I'm not saying ever, but I mean, I don't see it right now. So it'd be interesting. That's an interesting trade, man. And Seattle is one of the craziest teams in the draft. Who knows what the hell Seattle's going to do? But I would be interested. But again, might sound like a broken record. Hamilton should be the guy. He's at 2, yes, absolutely. At 2, yes. At 1, even at 2, I don't know if you take Hamilton, but I get what you're saying, and he would help out a lot. And I'm anxious to see what he does at the combine. I just saw today he's sitting out the bowl game. So you're not going to see him in a bowl game. So, and I could see the Jets wanting to move up to 1. I just think Salah may fall in love with either one of those guys. Salah, okay. I don't believe the Jets would trade up to 1, but they could easily trade up to 2. And Salah is going to want a defensive end. I really think he's going to want a defensive end. He may. I mean, we're going to do a lot of draft stuff in here. Khalifdis, the Purdue defensive end. That's a guy he may fall in love with. Reminds me a lot of Bradley Chubb, and he may just sit there. The Jets are a very interesting team because they're going to have 2 picks really high up. Same thing with the Giants. So, if any of those guys will be Thibs for the Jets, I can see that. The Blitz for Knicks is in the house. Yes, man, the Blitz. Welcome, brother. Patriots are amazing this year. Yes, they are. 3 passes and a victory. Brilliant job on Monday night. And I agree with you, though. The Chiefs are still the best team in AFC. 100% agree with you. Okay, just full disclosure, I'm kind of messing with the Patriots fans here because the Blitz has been saying for the last couple of weeks that Patriots are the best team in the AFC. As a Chiefs fan, I think Chiefs match up really well against the Patriots. And it's a game. The NFL is a game about matchups. Some teams match up better against other teams. The Chiefs match up really, really good against the Patriots. They match up really good against the Patriots. So that's why I like them. But right now, wouldn't it be awesome? Chiefs versus Patriots, an AFC Championship game, of course, at Arrowhead. So all that matters is Jim has the Zelda pick is really cool, isn't it? Isn't it? It is awesome. It is awesome. Yeah, I know, man. Isn't that I actually did not know he was going to join. I didn't know. He was in Key West doing tons of blow. You always make fun of me. He was actually in Key West doing tons of blow on his Instagram. So Wilson ends up in Denver. Carroll might retire after the season. I keep hearing things like that, and I'm not sure. I'm still not sure about that. When season ends, we'll find out. But I think that we're going to see Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson back in Seattle. But if it doesn't happen, that Seattle Seahawks team is going to be very interesting. So then again, Salad may want prolific. Yeah, I know you like them. I don't see that. This being on, I want you back on. I know you're in Key West doing tons of blow. So anyway, enjoy your vacation. It's cold here in Kansas City. So yes, I'm going to hit you up and hopefully I can get you to come back on. I'm going to have Denver Gator coming on. Looks like Christmas Eve. So, maybe we can work something out, have a threesome. So that is great. Nothing better than a threesome with three guys. As everybody here agrees, there's nothing better than a threesome with three guys. We all know the Patriots are nothing more than cheating bums. And Luke agrees with us on Hamilton. If nothing else, Luke G has been money on the Lions draft picks. And Hamilton could easily be the best fit. You can't. It's highly unlikely Hamilton's going to be the guy at 1. At 2, there's a precedent of a safety going number 2. I know Eric Turner went number 2. I want to say in 1991. God, he died at 29. I want to say a car accident or something. He never really lived up to that number 2 billing. I don't even think he made a Pro Bowl, but he was a pretty good player. There's never been, as far as I know, a safety going at number 1, and edge rush is always a higher priority. And Detroit really needs some help. Here's the issue with the draft, and again, I haven't done a lot of draft research yet. I have no idea what safeties are in this class. I mean, Hamilton's easily number 1, but edge rush, I mean, we were talking about it was definitely Thibodeau. Now it's Hutchinson. Kalifdis is a top 5 pick. I was talking to the Red Sea a couple weeks ago. He has Kalifdis really high up there. As a matter of fact, I think there's one of you guys, it may have been you, one Pride, that said you thought Kalifdis was better than Hutchinson. So, I mean, there's going to be some interesting stuff with the draft. Luke G's been money since I've been following Luke G. Luke G has been money with the Lions' first round draft pick. He has been money, but I don't see a way that you take Hamilton number 1. I think it would be a waste. At 2, there's a precedent of taking a safety at 2, and it would make sense. Personally, if I'm the Lions, I try to get out of 2. I would want to maneuver with the Jets. Right now, I think the Jets pick 5 and 6. All right. And at 5, Barry went 5. Barry went 5th. So if you move back to 5, Hamilton would be available. I could see that. So. Yeah, I'm excited, man. Me and Denver Gator get to come on. Yeah, I'm saving all my New Year's predictions, and I can't wait till you get on. And also, make sure you send me a link to the OnlyFans. That way I can put it in the description. Everyone says safeties don't have the value of an edge rusher, yet no one can name an elite defense without an elite safety on it. You have a good point. Yeah, I remember. I remember that. I remember that. And it's actually funny because that was one of the reasons why Dorsey was fired is he played hardball with Barry on his contract. And he by the way, he made the right move because Eric Berry had a good rookie season. He was injured his second season, had a really good third season. He was injured his fourth season. Had a great fifth season. I'm trying to remember here, or was it anyway? He got injured 2 years with I think it was different knees, and then he had cancer, and then the Chiefs played hardball with his contract, and he came back in 2016, had maybe easily his best season as a Chief, and the Chiefs gave him that multi-million-dollar contract, played like 4 snaps. He tried. He had this like foot injury, and people were saying that it wasn't. He could have played. It was just it was bone spurs, where a lot of players have played with bone spurs, but he didn't. And to be honest, Dorsey did the right thing, but the Barry beating cancer situation made national news. The Chiefs owner Clark Hunt said that he wanted Barry to retire as a Chief, which technically didn't happen. And but Barry went 5th. He went 5. He didn't go 2. But there's been a precedent of having a safety go 2. So that's why. I don't even know if there's another safety that's I got a first round grade. I have no idea. But it's easier to find a good safety than it is a really good edge rusher, and it's cheaper too. Yeah, Tim, what's in the house, man? Tim says, "What's up, bro? So I was at a basketball game this week with my buddy. His kid plays high school ball, and he coaches. He got tossed from the game from arguing calls. Those epic go Chiefs." That does sound pretty cool, man. It sounds really awesome, man. Tim, I'm glad you're in the house, man. Huge drop off. That's gonna factor into it. That's really gonna factor into it. So if the Lions pick number 2, I mean they could take Hamilton, and then if they like a pass rusher, take another one. Let's just call it 25. I mean, hey, we got a lot of draft talk. All right, let's start off with the Heisman Trophy presentation. I can't wait. I'm going to have it on DVR. I'm excited to watch this. I'm getting the numbers from my bookie. However, you may get the numbers from a different source. I'm going off from my bookie. Bryce Young is the Heisman favorite. The bet numbers are negative 10,000, which means that you have to wager $10,000 to win 100. And they have Kenny Pickett as plus 1,800, which means a $100 bet will win you 1,800. Aiden Hutchinson plus 2,500, and CJ Stroud at plus 4,000. All right, let me just level with you. Bryce Young is going to win the Heisman Trophy. All right, had a good season. Had the Heisman Trophy moment against Auburn. Had a great game against the best college defense I've seen in a long time in Georgia. Great defense in Georgia. Just shredded them. That does he deserve to win Heisman? I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you, a couple weeks ago, I thought CJ Stroud was the best player in college football. When I watched him put up 42 or 49 against Michigan State. Now, Michigan State had some injuries in the secondary, and they had some problems in the secondary. And then they also got 3 stud receivers. I mean, you got to give them a ton of credit. And that running back they got is, oh my God. Matter of fact, it wouldn't surprise me if the running back wins the Heisman next year for Ohio State. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Matter of fact, he would probably be my Heisman favorite going into year, more than CJ Stroud. I can make a case for Hutchinson. I mean, I remember at the beginning of the year, Ohio State made fun. This is kind of bothering me. I'm not like centered here. I'm going to tweak this just to, okay, there. Okay. I think that's right. No, I'm off too much here. Not on drugs, folks. All right. I'm done. All right. I think I'm back where I started. I forget. Okay. somebody from Ohio State was making fun of Michigan because Michigan said, look, we got the same amount of talent as Ohio State. And they actually do, though. The talent levels are very close. But if Ohio State wins that game against Michigan and they win the Big 12 championship, they're probably the number one team in the country. They are probably the number one game. They're probably the number one team in the country. And without Aiden Hutchinson, I don't know if they win that game. I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. I really don't know. So I can make a strong case for Hutchinson. I did not watch a single snap from Kenny Pickett. I didn't watch him play at all. I seen the fake slide, which they ruled illegal. So the answer to who would I pick as the Heisman Trophy candidate, I probably would go with Stroud. To be perfectly honest, I had a ballot. I would probably go with Stroud, and I'm against doing a defensive player, even though I was 100% for Charles Woodson. But to answer your question, who will win the Heisman Trophy? Definitely Bryce Young. Bryce Young will win the Heisman Trophy. So I bet if you looked in the NFL right now, you'll find twice as many good edge defenders as you will safeties. There's a lot of good edge defenders. I get everything that you're saying. I really, really, really do. It's just that putting pressure on the quarterback's a much, much, much higher priority than having a safety. It just is. Before I go, what's your favorite spread of the week? You know what? I haven't even started breaking down the games yet. And to be perfectly honest, there's not really one in particular I really like. I really like. There's really not one I like. There's not one. This is just not a good week. This really isn't a good week. I can make a case for several. I haven't done a lot of research on the weather yet either. So I really don't have one. To be honest, man, I've been kind of going through it. I don't really have one. I know that's a weenie answer, man. I know it's a weenie answer. I know you don't like it, but I really don't have one. If I'm going to give you one that I like, I'm going to give you one I kind of hope. And I'm just doing this just because I love you. And it's one I like. It's one that I'm stealing from somebody who I value their opinion very highly. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do it myself. But the Washington football team plus 4.5. And here's why. I'm not sold on Dallas. Washington's at home. Washington's high. I actually think Washington could win this game. And if you can get 4.5, take it. I'm probably going to pass on that. I'm going to do some research on the weather reports and probably go some over-unders. But the Washington football team plus 4.5. I have to admit, I was really leaning towards taking Detroit, but I didn't know about all the injuries. So that's my favorite. So before you take off, the Kansas City over-under, look at the over. Right now it's 48. And Kansas City put up 41 against Vegas. I know the Chiefs defense has been playing really, really good, but the Chiefs offense against the Raiders has been just phenomenal. I think the weather is going to be nice, but I haven't checked the wind yet. So, man, me and you need to talk. Hopefully I can get you back on soon. Lucas, 2 for 1 for draft picks would be 3-0 if Quinn. Yeah, I know. I know. I know, and I was with you. I agree. Luke and you and Funk, we all kind of got on board Isaiah Simmons. I actually wanted somebody else before Simmons, but yeah. Funk or Luke G has been red hot on the Lions draft pick. So he likes Hamilton. I'm telling you this right now, it's not going to happen at 1. How Walker isn't going to New York and Pickett is good grief. I think I saw something about this will be the first time the best player voted on by the coaches award wasn't a top 5 Heisman candidate. Yeah, I think Pickett deserves to go. I do think Pickett deserves to go. I don't think you could kick any of the four guys out, but it's really a shame. It's really a shame, but you can't have a game like he had against Ohio State and late in the year when it's a tough tough race. I mean, going into that game, he was the front runner in like 30 yards, and to be honest, that was like the biggest game of the year, and it was the most viewed game, and I think that sticks with a lot of Heisman voters. I'm not saying it's right, Funk. I'm just kind of giving you the reason why. So he did get kind of screwed. So Daniel, what do you think of Ahmad Gardner, cornerback, Cincinnati, pro comp? I like this kid. I like this kid a lot. I mean, from what I'm gathering, he's like 6'1", 195. I mean, just fluid. I mean, pro comp, you could go with oh God. I had the name. Okay, 45 minutes into the show, I'm having a name blank. Oh God, this is going to drive me nuts. Stephen Gilmore. Yeah, I mean, this guy's phenomenal. But here's the problem: is that I'm looking at mock drafts and I'm seeing so many corners going that he may slip in round 2. But I love this guy. I want to see what he works out at. I'm hearing 6'1", 195. But if he's like 5'11", 180, and it sounds stupid, but there's so much of a difference between 6 foot. But I mean, there's massive ceiling on this kid. So he went Stoke, Walker, and Camper. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I really do. After he beat Michigan, I was really kind of pulling for him. I really was, man. I was really pulling for him. I want to see what he does at the combine because I think he could be a first round pick. He's got to have a good combine. Thank you. Good luck to you this week, man. It's good seeing you. Man, hey, Blitz, man. I'm glad you're here. Enjoy your vacation. By the way, I will put my picks on my website. I'll have them revealed Saturday. I haven't had a chance to check out all the weather reports. That's why I haven't. I didn't have a pick last week, so I'm still doing some research. I will have all my picks that Monday or games I actually bet on will be on the website. So do check out my website. It's a work in progress, but I will put my picks on there. The drop off from Hamilton to Battle is huge. The drop off from Tibb to Nick Bono is not as big of a drop. And he's said to be late day 2 while Battle is fringe round 1. This draft is going to get ugly. I've said this before, but it wouldn't surprise me if a guy like the Honey Badger is wearing a Detroit Lions uniform and that fills so many needs in your secondary. I could see you attacking the safeties via free agency and then using the edge rushers picks with your draft. I could see the Lions using both first round picks on edge rushers. You have a need for that. That's something that you really need. So I mean, yeah, it's good. It'll be. I mean, we're gonna do a lot of draft stuff, so I'm really excited about that. Honestly, I warmed up to Hawk and Sewell. I wanted to quarterback when we got Sewell. I'm all in for Hamilton. I'm actually surprised that none of you Lions fans have said that you don't want Sewell's brother, who I think is perfect for a 3-4 defense. I'm hearing 250, 260. He hits like a freight train, and I want to see what he runs. But that's a guy. If I run a 3-4 defense, I want Sewell's brother as an inside linebacker. I want to see what he runs. I'm not sure he's a 3-down linebacker, but if I'm running a 3-4 defense, I want a linebacker like that. He hits like a freight train. I mean, he looks like a guy who could probably bulk up to 260, 270. I anxious to see his combine, but he could have. I'm surprised you Lions guys aren't really more on board with Sewell's brother, the linebacker for Oregon. I don't know his first name. But If you take Walker off Michigan State, they only win 2 to 5 games. He had one down game against a really good team. Michigan State had a horrible O-line. I don't know about their O-line, and I think they win more than 2 to 5 games. I mean, they did pretty well last year without him. Or, I mean, I don't remember him playing last year, but I think it's exaggerating a little bit. I didn't know their offensive line was that bad. But I do love the fact that they signed the coach to a big time deal, and I'm really hoping that Big Ten East I would love to see going into the 20. Well, technically it'd be the 2022 season. I would love it if going into 2022 if the Big Ten has 4 ranked teams just in the Big Ten East. I would love it. I would love to see 6 overall. And don't get me wrong, the best college football is always going to be in the SEC, but I love seeing that the Big Ten with 19 teams being the second best conference in college football. I would love that. In the Big Ten East with Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and now Michigan State, that just is awesome. It's good for college football. It really is. So. Mike Zimmer could be a coach if Joe Judge gets fired, hence the Giants draft. I'm in Gardner. Who do you think will replace Gettleman? Don't agree with it being Louis Riddick. Your opinion on him? If Gettleman goes, it'll be very interesting to see what the Giants do. I don't see them going Louis Riddick at all. The Giants have always been a team that wants to go with football guys more than TV guys. I don't see that as a viable option. As far as if Gettleman goes, I don't really have a name that I would tell you would be a good GM candidate, but it would be a football guy. It wouldn't be a TV guy. And that's just something the Giants have always done. Zimmer would be a great replacement. And the best part is that the defense would kind of, even though Zimmer is a 4-3 guy and they run a 3-4, the transition would be almost seamless. I think I really think it would, because your best player, Leonard Williams, he would be a stud defensive tackle in Zimmer's defense. He would there. Matter of fact, his production might even skyrocket. It might not, but I think it would. And then Ojulari, or whatever your second round pick, who's playing really good, he would be a defensive end. He would have to put on some weight, but Daniel Hunter, I think, was like 245, 250 when he came on board. So I have no problem with if Joe Judge does get fired, which I'm not sure he will, but if he does, if Zimmer took over, that would be a great transition. As far as general manager, I'm not really sure who it would be. I don't think it would be Louis Riddick. That's not something the Giants have done in the past. The Giants aren't a team that wants to go with TV personalities. I couldn't give you a name though. I'm not sure about the Badger. I actually am really surprised about that. Really surprised you're not on board with Badger. That's the type of guy I think is a Lions guy. But there's been talk now that his contract's up at the end of the year, and the Chiefs salary cap situation's terrible. But I've heard that it's something that the Chiefs are trying to get done. But how they do it, I don't know. There's some players are going to have to take pay cuts. We'll have to see. Oh, I know who you're talking about. I don't see the Lions making a big splash in free agency. I like Sewell's little brother. Yeah, I'm really surprised. I haven't heard more from you and other Lions fans about Sewell's little brother. That to me is a 3-4 inside linebacker. When I hear about Dan Campbell talking about ankle biters, that's the type of guy that I look for. Just maximum effort, hits like a freight train. This is a guy. If you have a 3-4 defense, this is the guy who I want as one of my inside backers. And I'm anxious to see what he does at the combine. I'm hearing he's 260. You could tell he's not a 4-4 guy, but I think at the combine, I want to see the I want to see him. He has to do a decent 40, but I'm not really worried about the 40. I want to see how he looks in position drills, because they do like the back pedal, the coverage. Can he switch his hips? Because he's a guy that would definitely be a first, second down type. Can he play on third down? And I don't know that. And I want to see that at the combine. I think as a general manager, he would be a good fit. Just I don't see the Giants doing that. So I'm glad you got, because I keep watching him and I'm like, how are Lions fans not on board with this guy? The other pick you have at 25, I could see that being sold. He has to test well. He's got to test well because if he at the combine, if he doesn't do a good combine, I could see Lions getting him in round 3 or 4, and that'd be a great pick. To be honest with you, if you get rid of Joe Judge, who's a Patriots guy, I don't see you going back to that board. To be honest, I think you would go with somebody different. I would want the Ravens guy, somebody with the Ravens organization. To be perfectly honest, this is kind of business 101. It might be somebody from the Kansas City Chiefs organization. I don't have a name for you, but normally what you do is you look at the franchise that's done the best, and over the last couple of years, it's been the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's kind of just business 101. So, I'm sorry. I'll get you in a second, Denver Gator. I got distracted. I saw your comment. I don't see that because if you fire Joe Judge, I don't see double dipping back into the. I don't see double dipping back into the Patriots. So. Sewell has one. Sewell's older brother has more year for his draft eligible next year. Lions. Yeah. I think he's going to come out this year. He hasn't. It's not official. I just think. So that would make a lot of sense. If you're talking about the guy who just retired, I'm drawing a complete blank. Ozzie Newsome. I don't think he is, but somebody from the Ravens organization would make a lot of sense. Yeah, there was, but I don't. Okay, the Giants traditionally have liked don't want to go after TV personnel. They could. I don't see it. Funk, say the same. Remove the hashtag. I don't care about language. YouTube might have issues. No one to risk anything for Dan. Say the same. Remove the hashtag. I have no idea. If it's a comment that sometimes YouTube excludes comments. I'm only looking at StreamYard. I don't look at the YouTube, but I have everything on 18 and over, so you could say what you want. But if you put something that I only have StreamYard. Sometimes YouTube deletes comments, and if one got through, but as far as I'm concerned, you say anything you want. I trust you guys. You guys have done a good job. There's a lot of football left to be played. If the Giants, and you have to understand because they got rid of Jason Garrett, I could see that Joe. I think Judge is on the hot seat, but how he does in the next couple of weeks is going to affect that. But if Judge does go, I can see Gettleman going. I can see the Giants. The Giants taking Zimmer is a Giants move. That makes a lot of sense. So. All right, let's break down the spreads here. I'm going to get my predictions here. The Raiders at Kansas City. Kansas City is a 10-point favorite. Oh, wow. I never advise on double-digit favorites. The Chiefs' defense has been playing red hot. There was massive winds that affected the over-unders. And I haven't checked the weather report. I believe the weather is going to be nice. It's going to be a little chilly, but, I mean, it's the Midwest in December. I mean, what do you want? The over-under is 48. Normally, I would take the under with the Chiefs defense playing as good as it has, but the Chiefs offense has just been destroying the Raiders. So I may want to look at some prop bets here. May also want to take a look at the over despite the Chiefs defense playing really, really well lately. On the website, I'll take a look, but there's some prop bet action I may want to take on this one. Jimmy's got 9.5. I seriously, that I wouldn't. Hey man, they won 41-14 in Vegas, and the Chiefs are hot. The Raiders are kind of falling apart. So, I don't blame you at all. The Ravens guy has a Spanish last name. He resembles Trent Dilfer, who I want as the Giants GM. I don't know the name, man. I don't know the name, but I mean, we still got a lot of football to left. But the Giants head coach, GM, yeah, their job's on the line. And if you want to move in a different direction, this is the year for the Giants because you're going to have two high draft picks. So let's assume Bears, Broncos, Giants, Vikings, and I'm missing a few all-fire head coaches who we've seen these teams trying to put in as head coaches. Wow, that's a good one. Bears, Broncos, Giants, Vikings. Okay. The Bears had an offensive mind. So normally what you would do is switch and put a defensive mind in there. Probably the best name I would think would be Todd Bowles, the Tampa Bay defensive coordinator. And Bowles in Chicago to me makes a ton of sense. You could go in a completely different direction, though. There's several different names that could be available. But with the Bears, if I'm the Bears, if I get rid of Nagy, I've been going offensive mind. Why not go with a defensive mind and then bring in a very young offensive coordinator? You could also go with Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator here as well. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. I feel so I can't believe I forget his name. The quarterback from Marshall, Brian Leftwich. Brian Leftwich would also be an interesting choice, but I think that the Bears, the reason why I like Todd Bowles in Chicago is because you have the opposite of Matt Nagy. You have a defensive guy who's got head coaching experience, where Matt Nagy was an offensive guy who did not have head coaching experience. So Todd Bowles would be a great fit. With the Broncos, I think Fangio's safe, to be perfectly honest with you. But you got to bring in a new offensive coordinator. But let's just say Fangio's gone. All right. If Fangio's gone, Gary Kubiak's son, I don't know his name, the offensive coordinator in Minnesota, that would be my number one because of the ties with Elway. And Elway's been doing that. Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator, would also be very, very high on my list. The reason why I should take a weapon away from Kansas City, and I could see that. The Giants, I could see Eric Bieniemy. That would be a good name. You get somebody from the Andy Reid coaching tree that's been successful. You're also going to get some draft picks. With a guy like Eric Bieniemy, you would also bring in a guy who's good at developing young quarterbacks. I mean, he had a large part of the development of Patrick Mahomes. So if you take Bieniemy, I think that you're doing that if you're going to draft a quarterback and you're going to move on from Daniel Jones. Byron Leftwich is a guy. With the Giants, a dark horse I could see would be Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the Saints. And I've been saying his name an awful lot. But that's a guy I'm very high on and I think would really be a great fit. He has head coaching experience from his time with the Raiders when they were extremely dysfunctional. So going into a stable franchise like Giants are one of the better organizations in the National Football League. Dennis Allen's a guy I think that would really be a great fit for the Giants. And with the Vikings, since you went Zimmer, I think that you could go, you could promote Kubiak to head coach. I could see that. I really could see that. But I think that if Zimmer goes, I think Kubiak instantly goes to Denver, either as the head coach or offensive coordinator. More than likely, Kubiak would leave and take over the offensive coordinator job. So if you're the Vikings and you had Zimmer for a long time, he couldn't get it over the hump, what would you want to do? And that's a tough one because I like the Vikings organization and they've done a good job over the years. They've had a really good defense. So do you want to go with an offensive mind? Well, the offense has been pretty good, but you're going to lose your offensive coordinator. All right. So that's kind of a tough one. Do you want to just blow up your defense, which you might have to do? So that's a tough one. Do you want to go with a guy who's got no experience? Because the Vikings may be a team that just says, you know what, let's just roll the dice and go with a college guy. Is there a college coach that's available that you may want to take some interest in? Somebody we haven't thought about yet. There's usually a college name. Matt Rule came out of like almost nowhere. So The Vikings would be kind of a mystery. And let's just, if you take a name out of the names I've already given you, okay, let's take away all those names. All right. Let me give you a brand new name. Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator from the Cowboys. I have a feeling he's going to be a head coach soon. And I think that him going to the Vikings just offers kind of a something new, something different, and that might be what you want out of the Vikings. But I'll be honest with you, Denver's coach I think stays put. The Bears I think is gone. The Giants and Vikings are both works in progress. I will say this: if the Vikings lost that game on Thursday, Pittsburgh comes back, wins that game, I think he's fired today. So the Vikings is a complete mystery because I don't know if they would move on from the GM as well. I don't know if they would move on. But if I'm the Vikings, if I move on as head coach, I really consider making Kubiak the head coach, the offensive coordinator. I'm not taking the action, just saying the spread I see and say, right now I saw it 9.5 earlier. I'm using my bookie today. I just refreshed, so it's 10. So. But yeah, I do take your point about the last time they played. I if you put a gun to my head, say, which one are you taking? I'm going Kansas City, but I don't take 10. So, and then I'm going to do some research on the weather report and some prop bets. There could be some really good prop bets on that Chiefs Raiders game. Jim Pat's won, man. I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here, man. Kubiak would be a terrible fit in Denver history, always with GM Patton. That's who I've been interested as dark horse head coach for the Broncos. And I agree. As we're both Chiefs fans, that would really suck. Kubiak, if Zimmer is gone, Kubiak will be in Denver, either as a head coach or offensive coordinator. I think he'll be as offensive coordinator. And if Denver doesn't get to the playoffs, he'll be promoted to head coach in the next year. That's kind of what I want to see. 5 TDs for Mahomes for plus 769. Ooh. Okay, for those of you who don't know, Mahomes threw for 5 touchdowns last time they played the Raiders. Do not take that bet, and I'll tell you why. The Chiefs' running game is really starting to get going. The offensive line is huge. The Raiders have a smaller defensive line. I really think that this is – keep in mind, I could see Mahomes throwing for 4 touchdowns and 200 yards, but I really think that what you'll see is I actually don't think this is going to be a close game. I think the Chiefs blow out the Raiders, but I think you see a lot of run heavy. I don't think you see the same thing. And what the Raiders did is that they were trying to get creative in that secondary, not playing that standard 2 safeties in the parking lot look. And Mahomes just kind of dinked and dunked. And all the touchdowns except for one was pretty short. But I would pass on this one. Okay, pass on this one. I know the Vikings and Bears likely. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. With the Bears, I could see them. I think the Bears will go with a defensive mind, and then he's got to love Justin Fields, and I could see a guy like I just think Todd Bowles would be a great fit for Chicago. I keep saying that over and over again. They may want to go with a different mind. Somebody, whoever Chicago gets has got to love Justin Fields. That's why I could see Eric Bieniemy. If Eric Bieniemy thinks that he can do something, you may want to say, well, he's got something to work with there. So, but I agree with you here. The Vikings and Bears, both these could come any week now. So. Raiders, Dolphins, Washington equal 8 Super Bowl wins before 2000. 0 cents. Trying to think here. You're right. You're right. The Raiders got a couple Super Bowls. 3 wins, I think. Yeah, they got 3 Super Bowl wins. Dolphins have got 2. Washington. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I would have sworn one of them won a Super Bowl before 2000, or after 2000. But no, you're right. It's kind of interesting. Okay, CEH had the flu, CEH had the flu. Apparently is going to play, maybe limited, so be careful about that. So, okay. He could get a passing touchdown. So if you can get 3 total for 2,600, that may be good value. Check the injury report because I know he's banged up. He did practice today, but he did have the flu earlier this week. So do check on that. So, hey, no, I'm there's going to be some. I'm probably going to put a prop bet on the Chiefs Raiders game. So yeah, this Black Friday is going to be interesting. I think Bears and Vikings definitely, unless the Vikings somehow make the playoffs. I think the Bears is definitely there. I think the Giants are an interesting situation. Denver's, if they continue to go down, I could see them making a move, but I don't think so. I think Fangio's safe. I think Fangio's safe because the quarterback situation was a training camp battle. And anyway, we'll have to wait and see what happens in Denver, but it'll be interesting. Black Friday is going to be interesting. I will have a Black Monday video. So 3 total, for 2,600, that may be a good bet. If he's healthy, it may be a really good bet. Yeah. All right. Next up, Saints at the Jets. Saints are a 5.5 point favorite against the Jets. I actually really like the Saints here. I know they've been playing really bad, and I think this is a perfect opportunity, even though it's a road game for them to get turned around. Over unders 43. I actually kind of like the over, but I haven't checked the weather report yet. Next, Jacksonville at Tennessee. Tennessee's an 8.5 point favorite. I'm not comfortable with 8.5. Yeah, I think Tennessee's going to win, but 8.5 is a big number, man. It's a big number. Big number. Over unders 43.5. Check the weather report. I think it's going to be good weather. If it is, you may want to take the over on this one because I don't know. This is one I'm going to pass on. I think I see Tennessee winning. I just don't know if it's going to be a blowout or by 3. I mean, I really don't know. Baltimore at Cleveland. Cleveland's a 3-point favorite at home. Actually, look, Marlon Humphrey's a really, really good corner, and losing him is going to be a tough loss. But actually, I like Baltimore in this one. To tell you the truth, I just don't see Baltimore losing this game. And you get 3 points. I might actually put money on Baltimore. Just if Humphrey was playing, he's out for the year. That's too much to handle. So I'm going to pass on this one. But I'd like Baltimore to win. What's crazy is fans want Campbell fired already. I see that. I actually do see that. You've won 1 game. And what's crazy is that you guys are saying 7, 8, 9, 10 wins. That's crazy. And so if you had 7 to 10 wins as your expectation and you got 1 in mid-December, of course you want them fired. So yeah, it makes sense to me. It makes sense that fans want him fired because you guys are saying 7 to 10 wins. If you were saying this is going to be a bad year, like I've been telling you since August, then no, it shouldn't be any surprise. So, but yeah, it makes sense because you guys are saying 7 to 10 wins. You mentioned Eric Bieniemy as Giants head coach candidate. Jets did not think he interviewed well before hiring. So, yeah, there's a lot of talk about Bieniemy didn't interview well. There's an incident that he had with a female at the University of Colorado when he went to the game as a stand. He was either kicked out of the stadium or off the university for a year. That's been private, but that's come up, and I think that's a big reason why anything involving a female in today's age is a major red flag. Also with Nagy getting fired from Chicago, that's kind of a red mark against the Andy Reid coaching tree, even though his first year in Chicago, he was 12-4, which they had, 6 straight double-digit losing seasons. And then Peterson also won a Super Bowl. Now he's been fired. Doug Peterson's a name that I didn't mention, but I think, should be included in there. So Bears and Vikes are locks. I think so. I think so. The Vikings go on a 4-game win streak. No, but right now, I definitely okay. The reason why I don't see Denver is because when they hired the general manager away from Minnesota, they interviewed Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak was the head coach in Denver, and he was also the head coach in Houston. Him and John Elway are best friends. John Elway was the general manager. He's all right. So basically, the way Denver made it sound is that they promoted him up in the organization, but he's not the general manager anymore. So how you want to read that's how you want to read that. But Elway, Fangio, and the owner all signed off on the general manager. And since the head coach was involved in hiring the new general manager, I don't see him being fired after 1 year. That's why I don't see it. Under normal circumstances, yeah, I could see it. But under this particular set of circumstances, no, I think he's safe. You keep saying you guys, no, you did not, Funk. You did not say that. But I remember I remember listening to the Luke G show. He brought on a guest and he was dead set on the 10. And I kept on saying, not only this guy's lying, and the reason why I know he's lying is because the over-under at the time was 4.5, maybe 5. If he legitimately thought the Lions were going to win 10 games, he would have put a mortgage on his house and bet that. And I'm not saying that because, the Lions have 1 win as of now. I'm saying that because 10 was crazy. But do you remember that guy who was on? He was dead serious, and that was baloney. All right. You did not. You never said 7. You never said 7. Funk never said 7. So yeah, I know you did. Funk, don't you want to keep Campbell? I'm going to say this as somebody. Now keep in mind, because you guys have been loyal. You guys are awesome, super awesome fans. I've been paying a lot more attention to the Lions, and I've really liked the Lions. And you got to give Campbell another chance. Getting the Lions, getting rid of Campbell after this year is crazy. Nagy is an offensive guy, and he only won 12 games because the defense hasn't looked good for Bieniemy. No, I get where you're coming from, but there's been other coaches that are good offensive coordinators that won with good defenses. Brian Billick won with the 2000 Ravens. He was an offensive genius, and he went to the Ravens and won with one of the greatest defenses of all time. John Gruden, an offensive genius. The 2002 Bucks, one of the greatest defenses of all times. Did Nagy get too much credit? Not enough credit? It's hard to say. But there's been a lot of red flags about Bieniemy. But this will be the year he gets a head coaching chance. I think this definitely is the year. So yeah, I'm all for giving the guy his shots, and what he inherited, he didn't stand a chance. Yeah, absolutely. I was hoping for 3. I don't want that. I get it. You really shouldn't want the 1 spot. The 1 spot's not a good pick, but if you do get the 1 spot, you take probably Hutchinson now. And then keep in mind, if you watch, by the way, go back to Joey Bosa's rookie season. He played 12 games. He had 12 sacks as a 5 tech. And Bosa, I think his listed weight's 275. He was closer to 260. And watch how he was used in the Chargers organization. That was his rookie year. And look how he's being used this year. He's being used very creatively. So but yeah, I don't blame you. And if I'm a Lions fan, I definitely don't want that 1 spot, because if you get 2, 3, 4, 5, you can get very, very creative. And even though Mike's not joined, he's been saying you got to take a quarterback, and you could do that. You could be at 5 and you could take a quarterback, and that's not a bad spot. And then at 25, you could get a really good edge rusher. And then, of course, your safety position, that's going to be a different thing. Yeah, I predicted 5 wins for the Lions, but didn't take an action on 4+ win for the season, so I wasn't very – that was smart of you. That was smart. Yeah. I five solid. I still got another win for the Lions. They're going to get one more. They're going to get one more. Next game on the docket, Atlanta at Carolina. Carolina is a 2.5-point favorite. They just fired their offensive coordinator. A lot of people thought this was going to be a head coach, and it didn't happen. And I have no idea what's going to happen with their offensive coordinator. I don't know if this is a situation where he's fired and it's going to wake the Carolina Panthers organization up, or if it's something where the Carolina Panthers are going to go down, because I'm not really sure what to expect offensively. I'm going to avoid this game. I actually like Atlanta in this game. I think Atlanta's been playing decent. Their defense keeps getting better. I have no idea what to expect out of Carolina, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm going to completely pass on this game, but I'm really going to pay attention to what they're going to do. But if you had put a gun to my head, I would actually take Atlanta. So I mentioned this game earlier. Washington's a 4.5-point dog at home against Dallas. I actually like Washington to win this game. I'm not going to action on it because I'm still not sold on the Washington football team. I'm not sold on Dallas, and I kept on saying that, but I actually thought that they would win out. This is going to be a fun game. If Washington wins, that NFC East, which Dallas had locked up, is now completely wide open, and it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. The over-under is 48, which is an interesting number. Check the weather report. You may want to go over. This could be a shootout. Next game, Seattle at Houston. Houston's an 8.5-point favorite. Seattle fresh off a win against 49ers. I could see Seattle just saying, they're sick of the Russell Wilson rumors and they're sick of everything. And I could see Seattle covering. I'm not going to cover 8.5 on the road. Over-under is 40.5, which is interesting. I'd probably take Seattle, but I'm avoiding this game. It's going to be a very interesting game. So I talked about this earlier. Detroit's a 10-point dog at Denver. I had no idea there were so many guys out with a variety of flu-like symptoms. I originally really liked Detroit, but thanks to you guys, I'm definitely going to pass on this. I'm going to pay attention to Javonte Williams rushing. I should have checked before, but I'm going to check. I'm going to make sure if Gordon's out, whatever Javonte Williams rushing total is, you may want to take over. That guy's a stud. So, Keith Campbell took over a broken team, needs to get better assistance. Who is available that could do much better and actually take the Lions' job, let them build through another offseason. And then outside of Lynn, the coaching staff's been amazing. I think Lynn will be a scapegoat. I think you guys go with a different offensive mind. I have no idea who you guys would look for on the offensive side of the ball. You may want to take somebody from the Rams organization. I could see you guys looking. Matter of fact, Mike Kafka, Chiefs quarterback coach, is going to be an NFL head coach sooner or later. That may be an interesting name. You may want to promote from within, and you may want to give one of your, I think was it Mark Brunell? I think he's a first-time quarterback coach. It may be too soon for him to promote him to offensive coordinator, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if you guys fire Lynn and move on offensively. So, and it wouldn't also surprise me either if you guys switch your scheme and go back to that traditional Dennis Allen defense. And I keep hearing you guys are happy with your defense. Your defense hasn't been good. So, I definitely would see you guys getting a new offensive coordinator and then making some tweaks on the defense. You also could say if the same defense, just add talent to it. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys do. Fab 5-time out classic. Just kidding, bro. Oh God, man, I almost forgot about that. God, you're making now. What's with the Michigan Denver hate, Denver, man? Denver only assistance needed on offense or defense has been better than we could have hoped for. I don't think the defense has been good, but you remember you're getting Okuda coming back, and you're going to add some players to that defense. So Denver dude's in the freaking Hall of Fame now. Yeah. God, I completely forgot about that, man. Betting on your favorite team is hard if they don't win, and they don't win and make money betting on them to lose. What do you root for? Money either way, it's hard. Yeah, I would bet against Kansas City. I have no problems doing that. I bet on some prop bets a couple weeks ago. I took Kelsey and Miracle Hardman, and both of them. Miracle Hardman was 25.5, and he had 25. And early in the first quarter, he dropped a 5-yard pass that literally hit him in. I say literally hit him in the hands. Nobody around him, and the Chiefs after that just went away from him. Kelsey, I think it was 76, and he had 73, and it was 76.5, and he had 74, and he dropped a 5-yard pass early. That said, I don't have a problem betting on Kansas City. I don't have a problem betting against them either. You just got to find the right spots. If you took the Lions for 10, that would actually make a lot of sense. However, thanks to the great thanks to the great information we got on the show and all the Lions players out with the flu, I would definitely reconsider. But that's kind of the reason why I created this channel, to get inside information from 32 fan bases. So that hopefully affected somebody in a positive. Of course, if the Lions win, we're all going to be mad. But yeah, Lynn scapegoat this year, golf next year, then Dan Campbell slide into the that I could actually see that. I could see that. However, I really think that I keep saying 25. Okay. The 25th pick, I could see you guys. I'm sorry, it's my neighbors. They're terrible. I could see you guys taking a quarterback with that 25 pick. I could easily see that. So, is there a chance Bill Parcells could be the Giant GM? Does he have the energy for it? Would the Giants organization ask him to? The answer is yes. Does he have energy for it? I don't think so. I haven't even heard anything with the Giants organization. So, or I haven't heard anything about Bill Parcells. He was doing like some guest appearances. To be perfectly honest, a name nobody's talked about, but I could see him taking over as a general manager type would be Rex Ryan. He's done a good job on ESPN. He's got a lot of football knowledge. It wouldn't surprise me if a team offers him a general manager position. Would the Giants go that route? No, they wouldn't. But I could see. I think that Rex Ryan would be a much more viable candidate than Bill Parcells. I don't think Bill Parcells wants anything to do with like a GM responsibility. Personal opinion, but I don't blame you. I want to see how he tests out. If he doesn't test out well, I could see you guys taking him in the 3rd round. So, Dan, 3 out of 4 games, the Lions win if they score 20. The defense is consistently put in bad positions game in, game out. Golf this week had the best game when we said 2 turnovers. I get everything that you're saying, but the defense still isn't good. Here's what the Lions should happen with the Lions. They should switch to Dennis Allen 4-3 because that's what you have personnel for. It's much easier to draft. It's much easier to build, and you can add some speed that's really needed in your front 7, and then you get a new offensive coordinator, and you massive improvements on your team. So. We just picked up 2 big-time transfers. I did not know that. Dan didn't hear a response as the Ravens guys, the Giants GM, a Spanish last name physically resembles Trump. I don't know who that is. Gary, I don't know who the guy is. But anybody from the Ravens organization would be a good. The Ravens consistently have had one of the top 3 to 5 organizations in the NFL over the last several years. If you can poach somebody from the Ravens organization, it would be a good fit. I don't know who the guy is. So I can't vouch for him one way or another, but I think it would be a good fit just because the Ravens organization has just been phenomenal over the last several years. If you're going to model your franchise after anyone, it would be the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens consistently have had a really good organization. So I don't know who the guy is, but yeah, it would be a great fit. I thought so. Okay. I'm going to go with what you guys say. However, I think he's coming out this year. He hasn't announced it yet. I think he is going to come out. The reason why I think he's going to come out is the coach from Oregon left to take the job in Miami. I don't know who Oregon's coach is, and he's definitely going to be drafted in the first couple of rounds. His brother's already in the NFL. It'd make a lot of sense for him to go pro this year. I don't think he has anything to prove. That's why I think I would go pro. It's not official that he's announced it, but yeah. Game to game betting against your team is okay. I'm thinking more of preseason over under expectations. If you bet over and lose, you lose both ways. Betting under is more important. Yeah, exactly. I took the Chiefs over 12.5 only for 100. So they got to win out for me to win that bet. When the Chiefs were 3-4, I just kind of ripped it up and, threw it away. I mean, all of it's electronic. So I was like, okay, well, one more loss, I'm dead. Well, at 3-4, I was like, okay, I'm dead. However, the Chiefs have won, was it 6 straight, 5 straight, whatever, 5 straight. And it looks like they're going to win out and probably finish 13-4. If I put 1,000 down, I would have been furious. So I don't know what the Denver Broncos over under is, but I want to say it was 9. I could be wrong, but going into the next year with over-unders, we're going to do a lot of research on it. I may actually charge for that service. I'm building the website and everything. But, betting on your team over-under, like I said, the guy who went on the Luke G show and was preaching 10 wins, and he was dead serious about 10 wins. I know he was lying, because if he really thought they were going to win 10, he would have put money on over 4.5, and he didn't. So that's how I knew he was just lying and had a lot of that Kool-Aid. So, you're right. In the 22 draft, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. I know you love this kid, man. I love Hamilton. Dude, he went from one side to the other for a pick. It was like the furthest I've ever seen anything go for a pick like that at any level. Yeah, there's a lot to like about Hamilton. This is going to be a fun draft. This is going to be. I mean, I love all drafts, but this is an interesting draft because earlier in the year we were talking about no quarterbacks being drafted, and I saw a mock for 5 quarterbacks going in round 1. It was 10. Actually, I got 10. I got 10 at plus 150. It was okay. When I went to Vegas, I was expecting to take 10.5, and it dropped to 10 at plus 150. So I got San Francisco at under 10 at plus 150. I put $1,000 down, so that would win me 1,500. So I'd walk out with 2,500. And right now they're 6-6. So 1 to push, 2 to win. So whoever's playing against San Francisco, go whoever's against San Francisco. So next game on the docket, Giants at Chargers. Chargers are a 10-point favorite. I like the Giants to cover. I know that Jason Garrett's gone. Barkley's not 100%. They're maybe going with the backup quarterback. I haven't looked into that. Chargers can't stop the run. Chargers are in a good situation that they're still fighting for the AFC West. Plus, they won against Kansas City earlier in the year at Arrowhead, of all things. So it's a good match, but 10 points I think is too much for a team that can't stop the run. I would be shocked Chargers didn't win this game, but cover 10s, it's a big number. I'm not putting action on it, but I definitely put the Giants to cover. Speaking of the over-under for San Francisco travels to Cincinnati. San Francisco is a 1.5-point favorite. I'm not sold on the Bengals yet, but I do like the Bengals to win. And, of course, if they win, I definitely push at for the San Francisco Niners because I got under 10. They're 6-6 right now, so I'm definitely pushing for Cincinnati. It's an afternoon game, so the West Coast team traveling to Ohio is not really that big of a factor. This is going to be a fun game. I actually very, very, very much looking forward to watching it, but I'm not going to put action on it. But, of course, if Cincinnati wins, I definitely get a push. So Funky's a perfect fit for us, and if Luke is predicting, it's a good chance it'll happen. I'm going to say this. Yes, I think it's a good fit. Not at 1. I'm telling you right now, he's not going to go 1. So, how about Ken O'Brien? Kyle O'Brien is the Giants GM, worked for the Chiefs and the Patriots. I mean, it'd be a good fit. I kind of want to see what's going to happen with Gettleman, but let's see what happens. No, you don't. I've seen some real bad mocks too. The media machine is pushing Pickett real hard. Sick of the quarterback narrative thing they do for ratings. Because you're right. You're right, Funk. You're 100% correct on this. And but I'm saying I've seen multiple mock drafts with 5 quarterbacks where before you had them with none. Pickett going to Pittsburgh in the first round has been a real popular item, especially with Ben Roethlisberger sitting down. That's going to be interesting. I think Pittsburgh would prefer to go with a veteran quarterback. I'm not saying they would promote Mason Rudolph, but that's kind of what I see. I don't see Pittsburgh drafting a quarterback in the first round because it would have been – I mean, they've been drafting quarterbacks in the 5th round and the 3rd round. Mason Rudolph's 3rd round pick. They had Josh Dobbs in the 5th round. I liked Dobbs a lot. I thought he had a lot of potential. Didn't really work out. But, yeah, Pickett's a guy that's just skyrocketed up draft boards. Matt Corral, Matt, whatever, the Ole Miss quarterback's been skyrocketing up. I'm now seeing Sam Howell. I think that's his name, the North Carolina quarterback. I'm seeing him back in the first round after he was out. I don't know if he's announced that he's going to go. Carson Strong, I think that's his name, the University of Nevada quarterback. I haven't seen him throw one pass. I've seen him in top 5 mock rounds. My guy's Desmond Ridder, and I think that as the draft process goes on, you're just going to see his stock skyrocket. So you said he didn't declare. He didn't, or he wouldn't. I said I wasn't sure. Which one are you talking about? One Pride. Next game on the. Let me know which one you're talking about here. I'm a little scatterheaded. Next game is going to be a fun one. Buffalo travels to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's a 3.5-point favorite. I mean, Buffalo's kind of falling apart. This is kind of a do or die game for them. Tampa Bay's pushing for the 1 seed. I like Tampa. I hate the 3.5. I hate that hook, so I'm not going to take it. But I kind of like it. I think Buffalo's just kind of falling apart right now. So, I did. Okay, no. I said I wasn't sure, but he did declare. Corral did declare. He is coming into the NFL draft. So I wasn't sure if he would or not, but he did declare. He actually did enter the portal. So yeah, I do too. I hate the hook though. I wish I got 3. Pride, rooting for your team to lose. The remainder is my prior statement. Oh, okay. I get. Yeah, I get it. Well, I want my Lions to beat your Brian. Fournette props are definitely worth a look in this one. Yeah, Buffalo can't stop the run. Yeah. I'm definitely going to take a look at the Fournette prop. Fournette's been playing some really good ball. I like Ridder, and he could get a real big bump soon, even in a loss if he looks good against Bama. Exactly. After the season's over, his stock's really going to skyrocket. Just wait and see. So, yeah. Next game, Chicago travels to Green Bay. Green Bay's a 12.5-point favorite. We've been talking about Nagy probably getting fired. I get that. Green Bay's, even though Rodgers is playing, Roger. 12.5 is just too big of a number. I know Justin Fields hasn't looked good. I would never bet 12.5. I could see it happening. The over-under is 43, even though both defenses are playing well. I haven't checked the weather report, full disclosure, but I would probably take Chicago, but not really not really the game I really like there. But It's one I'm really actually excited to watch. I want to see how Fields does coming back from an injury against a good defense in a tough environment. I want to see how he looks. I want to see if the game is I want to see if it's too big for him. I want to see how he responds. I don't care if he plays bad. All right, here's the if Fields has a bad game, I'm okay with that. Does he look rattled? Does he look uncomfortable? Does he not look like he belongs in an NFL offense? And that's something that if Nagy does lose his job, are you sold on Fields going forward? And I think Chicago is. So if Nagy gets fired, teams are going to watch this game and go, okay, here's what I got to work with. Do I have to rebuild this guy as a rookie, or is there things that I can take from this game? So I'm definitely going to take a look at Fournette props. Definitely taking a look at his props. You can take a look at receptions, touchdowns, and rushing yards. All three of those are high. All three of those are high. And pros and cons, because he could have a crazy high receptions number, but I think he's going to have a big game against Buffalo. Buffalo cannot stop the run. So Joe Ortiz, okay, the Ravens. Okay, yeah. No, he would be a great jam candidate. Absolutely, he was high on my list. The main target, my main target was Dodds from the Colts. I remember you really wanted him. Yeah, you really wanted him. I'm looking at quarterback strong from Nevada to Denver. Check him out. Not a lot of media talk. Actually, just the opposite. There's a lot of media. The last mock draft I looked at had him going 5 to the Jets. I've seen a lot of him going being the number one quarterback. I have not watched a single snap of him. Apparently, every single physical attribute known to man he has. This is probably going to be a first round quarterback. I have not watched a snap of him play, so I will. When the season's over and I start breaking down the draft, I'm going to look at him really hard. And I actually could see Denver taking a quarterback round 1. It makes a lot of sense. You decided you didn't like Locke. Bridgewater's definitely not the answer. It'll kind of depend on where you pick. You may have to trade up for him. You may have to go in free agency. I mean, I've heard talk about Big Ben coming to Denver for a year. I wouldn't hate that if I was a Denver fan, but if you do get Ben, you still want to draft a quarterback. But yeah, there's actually been a lot of hype about this kid. I haven't seen him play a snap. So yeah. I remember One Pride was really high on Dodds. How many receptions? I have no idea what the number is. I haven't checked out the prop bet myself, but I will tell you this: if the number's like at 2.5 or even 3.5, I might take over. Fournette's been getting a lot of catches, and that was like a weakness of his game, and he just developed it. I remember his last season in Jacksonville, he had like 76. He was like leading receiver. I think anything under 5 for over is a safe bet. I think 5 is kind of the magic number, and I think he gets a lot of receptions because here's the thing, the way Buffalo plays defense is they play that. I hate calling it the Tampa 2 scheme, but that's kind of the Tampa 2 scheme. But basically, they want to rush with 4 down, and then they have their 2 linebackers on the field 24/7. So, I mean, now keep in mind, Tre'Davious White, their superstar corner, is out with an ACL, and they've had some problems fixing things around. So you may want to go ahead and take like Mike Evans for receptions as well. But Fournette, I think anything under 5, you would definitely take that. I think if the rushing number is in the 60s, you definitely want to take that. 70s, I'd be wary, but it wouldn't surprise me if Fournette has like 80, 90 yards rushing, 5-6 receptions. So, Denver, are you guys picking him up on day 2? If he's available day 2, absolutely Denver would, but I think Denver will probably use their first round pick on a quarterback. So. Mahomes is doing all right. He just needs to find a quarterback in 2020. I'm assuming you mean in 2023. I kind of think that that's what they're going to do, is that they're going to draft someone in 2023. But I wouldn't surprise me if they draft a quarterback this year to play in 2023. Because if they draft a quarterback in 2023, you still got to pay Goff all that money. And he's getting a lot of money. And I think that you kind of want to cut ties with the contract after 2022. So it's going to be a really interesting debate. Is do you take the quarterback in 2022 or 2023? And it'll be really interesting to see what they do, because I don't think you use that first pick that you're going to get on a quarterback, but the second one could definitely be a quarterback. So finally, and this is going to be a really fun game, Rams at Cardinals. If Corey the Red Sea was here, he would tell you that he definitely is picking the Rams. Corey, hope you're watching, man. Probably bowling and doing a bunch of blow. Cardinals are a 2.5-point favorite. I haven't checked the injury report. I'm going to find out who's healthy, who's not. But I actually like Arizona in this game. I think Arizona gets the sweep on the Rams and kind of locks up that NFC West crown and the number one seed. So, yeah, I really like the Cardinals here. Again, I haven't checked out the injury report. I'm going to check out the injury report because I know Chase Edmonds is back. But I'm going to double check on this. But the Cardinals to cover 2.5 is a good number. Remember, they won 37-20. The over-under is 51.5. A little too high for my taste, but it's something to think about. But I do like the Cardinals in this game if everything's good. 5 is the minimum you can take for. Oh, you know what? Okay, look at 6 and 7. And you may want to take the under, depending, because 5, I like 5, but there's no way I would take 5 from -208. Keep in mind, without Tre'Davious White playing, you may want to take some overs on those wide receiver numbers. So, biggest reason I was high on Dodds is because he built the Hawks Super Bowl roster and the Colts roster today. Well, the big thing that he was instrumental on. Well, actually, it wasn't really him. It was the guy who was at the Chiefs organization. That's now the Colts GM. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Is remember that he had that trade with the Jets. The Jets traded up to 3 so they can get Sam Darnold. And at number 6, they got Quentin Nelson. And then with that second round pick, they got Darius Leonard, which was a lot of people thought could have gone in round 1. A lot of people weren't sold on the Leonard pick, but Quentin Nelson at 6 was great. But you got Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard for Sam Darnold. How brilliant is that? And that was kind of that. He was kind of high on that. But I think the general manager had more involved with Dodds. But I get it, and I know you like that. So you got the Cards at 1. Oh, hell yeah! Good pick. Yeah. Cards at 1, phenomenal. I'm going with my bookie. If you got great pick. I know Edmonds is coming back. He's been a real boost to that offense. I think Murray, Hopkins. I think the health of Arizona is fine. So if you got him at 1, great job. Yeah, if you got 1, phenomenal. I think so. I still think that the Clemson quarterback is going to have a great year, even though they lose the offensive coordinator to I think it's Virginia. He's going to be a first-round pick in 2023. Even though he had a bad year, he's going to be really good. You get the quarterback from Oklahoma. It'll be interesting how he does in the SEC. He's going to be a guy to really watch out for. It's going to be several other names, but we're going to have to take a look because there's a lot of quarterbacks that I think are all over the place, and I kind of want to see what the Lions think. And keep in mind where the Lions pick, because the Lions, let's say they win 2 or 3 games, and instead of picking at 1, they're picking at like 5 or 6. They may want to use a quarterback there. So, Big Ben to Denver. I'll publicly denounce the Broncos. Hell no in every way. By the way, I'll root for whatever team Rex Ryan becomes a GM of. I don't care who it is. I actually would not be surprised if Rex Ryan leaves ESPN and takes a job as a GM somewhere. I think Rex Ryan, very underrated football mind, smart guy. It's not the first time a player turned ESPN personality has become a general manager. It's happened a couple times, so it makes a lot of sense. So, I actually do like that, and I would be a fan. I love Rex Ryan. Always loved Rex Ryan. I've seen a lot of things with Big Ben going to Denver, and to be honest with you, it makes a lot of sense. You got so many more weapons in Denver than you do in Pittsburgh, and I'm not insulting Pittsburgh at all. I mean, I know Claypool's got all the talent in the world, but I mean, There's so much more in Denver. But I mean, I've heard this happen. I don't think it will. I think that what you'll do is you'll move on from Drew Lock, which is a big mistake in my opinion. I think Drew Lock's going to sign with somebody as a backup, and then if he ever gets a chance, he's going to play really well. And I think you guys are really going to regret that. I think it's a bad move that you didn't go with Lock for this year, because you know what you got in Bridgewater. You don't know what you got in Lock. But it wouldn't surprise me if you guys pick, let's just say 18, making it up. I don't even know what the draft order is, but let's say it's 18. All right. It wouldn't surprise me 18 to take a quarterback. And Strong may be available. You want to go, you may go with Pickett. His stock's been going way up. I'm anxious to see him playing in the bowl game, which me and you are going to talk about. So there's a lot of different things that could happen. A lot of different things. Did you have a pick for the Ravens game? Yes, I did. I actually like the Ravens in this one. The reason why I'm not going to bet on this game is the Ravens are a 3-point dog going into Cleveland. All right. The reason why I don't like this game is because Marlon Humphrey's out for the year. Remember, you already lost Marcus Peters. And I know that, Cleveland's more of a run-heavy team, and they do their best, going off play action and everything like that. But it's still a massive loss. Actually, even though they have that, that's what's got me against it. But at 3 points, I really like the Ravens. I think the Ravens win this game. So if you can get 3 points, I would take it. The only reason I'm not betting on it is because they lost Marlon Humphrey, and that might be too much. I haven't seen enough of the rest of their corners to give you an accurate assessment on how their defense is going to bounce back. Cleveland, again, if it's like high wind, bad weather, I would almost go with Cleveland. Also, I know Lamar Jackson's not at 100%, but I do like Baltimore to win this game. I don't see Baltimore losing this game. It's hard for me to go against Baltimore, but the injury concern does bother me. You get 3 points. So, yeah, I like Baltimore in this one. Pick 3 or 2 would be, yeah. It would be. Okay. Houston would love to have the number 1 pick, and I think Hutchinson fits perfect with that defense. And if I'm Hutchinson, I'm going to be public and saying I'd love to play for my hometown team, but privately I would rather go to Houston, play with a possible future Hall of Famer in Lovie Smith, and he could make the Hall of Fame someday as an assistant. But that would be a great move for Hutchinson to play in that Tampa 2 defense. Granted, if they keep Lovie Smith and that whole coaching staff, I would rather play in that defense. You got Russ Blacklock. Alex isn't here today, but he's been really high on Roy Lopez. There's some really good things to like about the Houston Texans, and adding Hutchinson to that defense would make a lot of sense. Pick 2, I could see you guys going Hamilton. I could also see you guys going Thibodeau too, so it'd be interesting. There's been no talk about Rex Ryan wanting to go back into coaching. I know John Gruden left ESPN to go back to coaching. I could see Rex Ryan wanting to go into a front office type situation. Just I have no idea. I've never had a conversation with Rex Ryan, but I would love to see him go into a front. I think it's much more likely he would go to front office than coaching. Keep in mind, I've never had a conversation with Rex, so I don't know. So. They can cut Goff post June 2022 and get 10.6 back on the cap. 2023 they get 25.6. Goff's here for 1 more year. I agree with everything, except I may want to go before round 3. I may consider round 2 if there's somebody there that you really have a high eye on. I think Ritter's not going to be available in round 2, and some of the names we've talked about is not available. There may be a dark horse that you guys like that you may overdraft in round 2. And I haven't dove into the draft enough to figure out who that name would be. But there could be somebody that may have like a 4th, 5th round grade that you guys snag in round 2 and overdraft for. There could be somebody in free agency that I've mentioned Drew Lock many times. You may be able to get Drew Lock on a very, very cheap deal. You may be able to get him on like a, like a 2-year, $3 million, deal with like a ton of incentives or something crazy like that. Jameis Winston's a guy that might be available. Cam Newton, hell, I don't know. You could go in free agency. You could also use a second. Let's say you get a third. If you get a third pick as a comp for Galladay, you could, maybe use that third to trade back into the second. And but you also could use the third. I haven't broke down the draft enough to give you an accurate description, but there could be somebody who's like maybe a little undersized that Campbell just really falls in love with. I don't know. So Clemson will be an afterthought. Lost one of the best defensive coordinators of the game to Oklahoma. Lost OC to the Virginia. Dabo will be exposed. I agree about Locke. Am I thinking Lions or Bears or even Rams? I have no idea, to be honest with you. Drew Lock. I don't know if Drew Lock is being public and saying, "Hey, I gotta go to a team where I can start." I have no idea if Drew Lock's saying I got to be a starter, or if he wants to go somewhere and do like what Mitchell Trubisky did in Buffalo and saying, "You know what? I'll be a backup. I'll sit and keep me out of limelight." I could see him going as a backup. Where would be an interesting place to back up would be in Vegas. That would be an interesting spot, depending on who takes over as the Vegas head coach. I don't think the current coach will get the job permanently. But Mariota, I think, is only on a 1-year deal. He could move on, and you may take Drew Lock, a young up and coming quarterback, just as protection against Derek Carr. That would be very interesting. I know the Raiders organization was really high on Drew Lock because the Raiders organization coached Drew Lock at the Senior Bowl, and apparently he just did phenomenal. And I actually thought at that 4th pick where they draft Clyde Farrell, I actually thought that they were going to take Drew Lock. I actually thought they were going to take Drew Lock, move on from Carr, but they like Gruden and Carr really clicked, but I don't know if Mayock is super high on Carr or not. I think Carr's tied to Vegas right now, but could you take a guy like Locke, put him on the Raiders? Sure. Why not? Lions or Bears or even Rams. Rams would be interesting. Rams would be very interesting. I think the Rams would be a perfect spot for them. Learn behind Stafford, learn under McVay. That would be wonders for them. Lions would be interesting. In Chicago, I don't think Chicago would be a good fit because Fields is your guy. The Washington football team, I think he could press to be a starter, depending on what they do with Fitzpatrick. I think Fitzpatrick, if he wants to stay in the NFL, could go somewhere else and try to start somewhere. So I as a backup, I could see it. I wouldn't be mad at signing Drew Lock, just see what he's got hidden. If there's nothing else, just look. Absolutely. Lock would be, you may be able to get Lock dirt cheap, and Lock's got a ton of upside. To be honest with you, Lock's got a massive upside to him. It's just that he was prone to turnovers, and that was what Denver didn't like, which is kind of their old school philosophy, which is keeping them from really competing with Kansas City. But you get in. Here's the deal: whoever's your offensive coordinator, and I think your guys are going to move on from Anthony Lynn. Whoever your offensive coordinator is, if he's got ties to Lock at all, I could see that happening. So back up to Stafford. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be a great, if I'm Lock, I would go there on a 1-year deal and soak up all that knowledge, and then, enter free agency and say, look, man, I can play in this league. I'll back up to Stafford, but I can play in this league, and there's a good chance he may get a starting spot somewhere. Funk, you eating Goff's in 2023? It's only $5 million. Got Cardinals beating the Rams. I do too. We'll dive into that during the draft and everything, but it'll be interesting to see what the Lions do with the quarterback position. Hamilton. We got you on record as wanting Hamilton. I'm just telling you, I really just don't see it being number one. Really don't see it being number one. I'll be so sad to see if they draft anyone. I currently have Hamilton as my top prospect. It'll give me to Vikings. I'm just saying he's not going number one. It's $20 million to eat and recover $10 million. If Locke is less than $10 million, how's it hurt to cap? Locke may sign. He may sign like some incentive-laden contract. He may just sign like the veteran minimum just for a chance. I have no idea what Locke's agent's telling him. I know he's got a really good agent because he was projected to be a first-round pick, and Denver stole him in the second round. But it'll be very interesting to see what happens. But Drew Lock's a guy I think that can start in the NFL, and I think Denver made a big mistake. But that's a good thing as a Chiefs fan. Local YouTube guy Brandon Perna has shirts made beating golf when he was a Ram. So every week we're trying to see who beat. It's kind of funny. Denver, watch your kneecaps this week. Everyone looks at what they got paid as if the cap hit, but overlooks what's recovered. And then it's failed to realize if you replace them with someone for the money recovered, it's pushing. Yeah. All right. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of. All right, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice here. We're going to wrap it up. I've been going on for 2 hours. Guys, before you leave, don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Final thoughts before I go ahead and wrap up for the week. Just so you guys know, Denver Gator is going to be here Christmas Eve. We're going to talk college football. He's going to promote his OnlyFans, and he's going to do the whole show and wearing only his favorite barrel. And it's going to be a great show. He's betting his life savings on one of these New Year's 6 games. One Pride 40, give me Ken Dorsey. I would be a good fit. That would be very interesting. I like the fact that you got him and Brunell, a couple old NFL quarterbacks. I really like that. That would be very interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Detroit does in the offseason, but I could see that. I like that. It's good sports. Yeah, and biting kneecaps at Mile High, have your boys huffing and puffing, but the Broncos are not taking this game lightly. They know when they're – oh, man. Oh, my God. Michael. Oh, wow. Oh, man. Oh, for sure, Gator. These aren't the Matt Patricia Lions. That's going to be a good game. Good game, and thank you guys for telling me all about those the flu bug. I was not aware of that. So, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap up. Everybody have a great week. I'll see everybody back on Friday. Don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Do me a favor, drop a comment below. Anything and everything for the algorithm would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for the show. I'll see everybody back next Friday.